Hello and welcome, everyone. As always, I welcome you all to the aftermarket analysis session. Every day, our GoCharting team conducts this aftermarket analysis session for the Indian markets Nifty and Bank Nifty, where after the market closes, we look at where the buyers came in, where the sellers were active, and basically how the footprint gave confirmations today. We discuss all these things. If you are new and want to learn order flow, or want to learn how to read footprints properly, then you can join this daily live webinar at 5 p.m. in the evening. The link for this live webinar is uploaded on GoCharting's Telegram and Discord community before 5 p.m. in the evening. In any case, if you are using GoCharting at that particular time, you can also join the webinar by clicking on the notification at the top right corner here. Okay. In any case, if you miss this webinar, the recording of this webinar is uploaded on both GoCharting's Hindi and English channels in both languages. I have pinned the links to all the channels and the community here in the message, and you will also find them in the description. Now go to GoCharting's YouTube channel. There are thousands of videos regarding order flow. Go and check them out. Okay. So now, let's look at Nifty. Before switching to Nifty's footprint, let's just confirm the volume profile once. Okay, volume profile, let's see what the volume profile was telling us about the previous day. Okay. So first of all, let's look at the previous day. On the previous day, the market was sideways, so we had marked this VPOC zone here. Okay, we marked this VPOC zone and then we also marked the swing high. This was the volume node of this swing high. So, according to the volume profile, this was one confirmation and this was another confirmation. We marked both of them. And then, if it broke down from here, then the previous day's volume profile confirmation was there. What was that? This was it. Okay. And if it broke down even from here, then this entire low and high that the market created here, the most important zone was this one. Okay, its opposite zone was here. In any case, if this too was broken, then for this whole range that has been there for so many days, its value area low was here. This was the value area low, this was the opposite zone, and this was the value area high. In between these, this was yesterday's opposite zone, and then this was an important volume note from the day before. Okay, so these are some levels that we had marked. First, we took the previous days, then the day before that, and then we took the complete swing high and low based on the confirmation from the volume profile. Okay, so now let's see, based on these same levels and the confirmation from the volume profile, what kind of confirmation the order flow gave us today. On the footprint chart, at these same levels, where did we see buyers showing interest? Where did we see sellers showing interest? And what exactly happened where? Okay. Okay. Before we properly read the footprint, we should know what delta is, because every day we use delta to read the footprint here. Now, what exactly is delta? In simple language, the difference between buyers and sellers is what we call delta. Now, what is this difference between buyer and seller? Let's pick the first candle. These are the footprints of the first candle. It means where buyers and sellers are multiplied. This is the sign of multiplication. On the right side of this multiplication sign, all of these are buyers, and on the left side of the multiplication sign, all of these are sellers. Okay, footprints tell us this. Now, on the right side, we add up all the buyers. We add up all these buyers. Alright, and then we add up the sellers on the left side. We add up all the sellers. Suppose the total for sellers here comes to 2.5 lakh, okay. we have denoted the sellers. We are taking a negative value just for the sake of understanding the concept. For buyers, suppose the total comes to 1 lakh, around 1 lakh, okay, we denote this with a positive sign. Okay, so when we subtract these two, what will we get here? Who is more by 1.5 lakh? Sellers, we have subtracted buyers from sellers. Alright, after subtracting both, what we get is the sellers. How much more? 1.5 lakh, so this same delta has given us this confirmation. Now, because the sellers are more, the value here is negative, and this value is inside a red box. Okay. And we refer to this in the language of delta, negative delta. Negative delta means that in this particular candle, there are so many sellers, negative delta equals sellers, okay. Now let's pick this candle. Similarly, add the buyers on the right side. Add the sellers on the left side. Subtract one from the other. Now here, we get a positive delta. What did the positive delta indicate? There are 20,000 buyers, right? So what did we get? Positive delta. So positive delta means positive delta is equal to buyers, just like negative delta means sellers. Similarly, here positive delta means buyers. Now, inside this candle, there are 20,000 more buyers as compared to sellers. Okay, this is what positive delta and negative delta mean. Well, how are we going to use this? Now, pick any candle, like I have picked this candle. Look at its delta, 18,000 on the positive side, so that means in this particular candle there are 18,000 more buyers. Pick any candle and you will immediately understand whether there are more buyers or more sellers in that particular candle. Okay, like I picked this candle, checked the delta, there are more buyers, picked this candle, checked the delta, there are more sellers. Now you are able to understand the essence of each candle. Okay, now look at the delta of this candle. Look at its delta. 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh, 90,000. Alright, and then look at the delta of these candles. Okay, again, 1,21,000, 1,70,000. Alright, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. And then look at these candles. Only 7,000, only 20,000, only 10,000, only 12,000. It means there are some candles whose delta is very high. Right now, we are considering both negative and positive together, okay, and there are some candles whose delta is very low. So, the candles whose delta is very low have seen less buying and selling compared to those candles whose delta is quite high. So, the candles whose delta is quite high have seen heavy buying and heavy selling, and it is these candles that actually have the potential to move the market. Okay, so now what we will do is pick those candles whose delta is very heavy. Alright, by very heavy I mean solid. Now, there is something special about the first candle. In about 90 out of 100 days, you will find a very heavy delta here, but many times the market does not follow in that direction. So, what is the better option? Either skip the first candle or trade it very cautiously. Okay, now we are going to see how to read the footprint using delta. For example, what is the delta of this 150 of the first candle? What did the delta tell us that in this particular first candle, there are more sellers, quite a lot. Delta has indicated that there are more sellers. Now what we will do is, we will jump to the sellers side and look for the place where the maximum selling has happened. Going through from the sellers side, where has the most selling taken place? 85, 77, and 64. We will mark this same zone with red color because these zones are going to act as resistance now. Okay. The next candle here gives a good confirmation that a level has been broken, which is the previous day's volume node, and it broke with selling. This is a very good confirmation. Let's move ahead. Again, the delta of this candle is even bigger than the previous one. Here, there were 1.5 lakh more sellers. Here, there are 2 lakh more sellers. Again, we will jump to the seller's side and look for the place where the maximum selling happened. See this, 1 lakh selling, another 1 lakh selling, and this 91,000 selling. So, there are 3 places where the maximum selling has happened. This place and this place. So, what have we observed here so far? In the first 2 candles, we saw quite heavy selling, and within that heavy selling, there was this zone where the selling happened. Second, this was the zone where selling happened. Third, this was the zone where selling happened. Okay. Now, what is our funda? Every day, we see that we get really good trades on pullbacks. Now, on the pullback, we have to see where, at which level the market holds during the pullback. Like, this candle broke this selling zone. So, we will also easily delete this selling zone because the market did not respect this selling zone. Now see, for 15 minutes the market was stuck here and look at the delta. First see, 1.5 lakh selling, 2 lakh selling, around 1 lakh selling, and here, just 7,000 buyers, 20,000 buyers. Okay. Look at the strength of the selling and the strength of the buying during the pullback. There are hardly any buyers, and the main thing is that the resistance is being respected quite well. So this is that selling zone which the market has respected. Sellers came in, there was a pullback, and the market got stuck. Again, there was a movement on the downside. Okay, now, in this downside movement, from here to here, if you read according to the delta, like the delta of 76, which are the selling zones 75, 75, 58, 63, and this 92. Now see, which one has the biggest selling? This is a support zone. Which support zone is this? This is the opposite zone of the entire swing high and swing low that was decided for the market so far. It's a very important level. Until this level is properly broken on the downside, we cannot expect any more bearish movement. The biggest order was at 92, and right after this order, the market reversed from there, meaning it returned. What does this mean? It means that above the support zone, we saw a selling absorption. Now look at the pullback. Even this selling zone has been broken. This also got broken, that also got broken, and somewhere here, the market got stuck again ahead. Okay. But what was the biggest order here? One got absorbed, and the main thing is that this is a very important support zone. Okay. Look at this. First, look at this minimum delta. The minimum delta is around 92, and then what happened inside this candle is that at one point there were quite a few sellers. Then again, buyers entered back inside this very candle. This is the whole story of this candle. Okay. The same zone is being respected. Another selling came in. Again, right around this same zone, look at this. The first selling, the second selling, the third selling. Okay. And selling is happening again and again, but the price is not going down. So what does this mean? It means that all the selling here is being absorbed. Now look at this. If we look at the last selling, it happened after 10:25. After that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 candles have held without any selling. And one more thing that could have made this a proper selling absorption is if the buyers somewhere pushed the price up. Then on the pullback this could have happened. But what happened here is that buyers did not enter again and again. Sellers were attempting to take the market down and they were just getting absorbed here. Okay. Now, a lot of people also use cumulative delta to identify selling absorption. So, look at this. There is a negative delta of around 450, and how much did this delta reach? It reached at around 670. That means selling increased by about 200 in the cumulative delta, but the price is still at the same level. Somewhere or the other, it has only gone up. Okay, so this was also giving confirmation that the selling is being absorbed. There was a good pullback. And the price came back, but how far did it come back? It came back from a support zone up to the resistance zone. But here, while approaching the resistance, it made a mistake. What mistake did it make? Till here, there was selling happening somewhere or the other. Either the sellers were creating resistance or they were getting absorbed. What happened here? There was a huge buying here. Look at this. Buying of 121k, buying of 177k, meaning 1,21,000 buying, 1,77,000 buying, back to back super buying. Alright, and it easily broke through all the resistances. If the market has broken through, then we will also break here. Where is our next target? Right here. Because here is yesterday's VWAP zone and a volume node. Okay. Similarly, these two candles, this candle and this candle broke all the resistances. Okay, and where did the biggest buying happen? Here. Look at this. First buying happened here, second buying happened here. Which are the strongest buying zones among these candles? Buying at 53k, buying at 34k. Okay, and in this candle, see, buying at 76k, buying at 87k. Let's mark both of them. And this one more buying. Okay, in these two candles, there were two buyings. One is this 76k, 53k, 34k, and this one is 87k. The very next candle showed that this buying zone is not going to work, so let's delete it as well. Now, all the focus is on this buying. The order at 76k and the buying zones of the first candle held firm. There is no selling anywhere, boss. If you say that before 10:55 it was bearish, after 10:55 the market became completely bullish and we also saw why it was bearish. Heavy selling, heavy selling. After that, the sellers got trapped. Everything started getting absorbed and after 10:55, why was it bullish? Because there was heavy buying, okay. A pullback came, it held right there, got stuck, and we saw a pretty good move on the upside. Okay, in this upside movement, there was another round of buying. There were a few more buying attempts as well. Look at this, buying at 96, buying at 76. But in the very next candle, those buying zones were being broken. So, which was the best buying zone? This one, because this buying zone below, this buying zone on the lower side was not broken even once, and we got a slight confirmation above the resistance that look, buying at 126, buying at 83. The buying zones of this candle are at 131, 81, and 78. Okay, if we mark these zones, then the very next candle is telling us that all these, look, the buying zones have been broken. So this means that somewhere these buyers have now been absorbed here, and since these buyers have been absorbed, now they can act as resistance. Okay, it got stuck right there on the pullback and gave a slight downside movement, and from here itself, Nifty closed with a mild rejection. Okay. There was a buying zone here, a bullish zone. We had one confirmation that we should not go long from here. What was that? Look at this. Exactly above the support, there was selling of 84k here, 49k, 49k, and the market is easily holding below that. Okay, once this resistance zone was broken and then again, where the selling was absorbed earlier, the market got stuck at the same place. What did Nifty do today and how did it perform? It was a roller coaster ride. First of all, there was quite a bit of selling, and this very selling acted as resistance. Then here, the selling kept continuing, but the price did not move at all. Okay, there was not even a single closing below the support. All the selling was absorbed. Quite a few buyers entered. This was the biggest buying zone. Okay, and this very buying zone also broke the selling zone of this candle. There was a pullback. It got stuck right there. After 5 to 10 minutes, it moved up to the next resistance. There was another strong buying scene. But during the pullback, the market easily broke through it. There was a pullback and it came back to a support zone. At this support zone, there was quite a bit of selling. Selling happened here, right at this point. Okay, and the selling continued further. But when it broke this level along with the selling, we couldn't really take a pullback trade because it was market closing time. Okay, for a moment, this buying zone was broken. Then it came back again to the same level where, in the morning, we had seen selling absorption happening. This was today's quick analysis video on Nifty. Now, whatever doubts you all have, please unmute yourself and ask.